Well, we're back. We did take a break over the holidays, but we have been working. The whole crew went to SevenStock, so we'll have some video of that coming up. I shouldn't say the whole crew. I wasn't there, but we'll talk about that. But we have some great video of it, thanks to Dan. Here's one project we've been working on in west of Tulsa. We're undergoing a renovation here at the museum that we're sitting in. It's undergoing a transformation. Some of the old cars are going to find a new home, and some new cars and people, Gabe,
Rotary,
are moving in.
Wow.
Can a Rotary go next to a Porsche? I guess it can.
I think
we'll
it's
talk
okay.
about that.
I think it's okay.
We are rearranging things, and we're going to do some demolition as well. That's the part I'm excited about. Oh, yeah, and we have had a few wildfires here in Southern California, so that has thrown us off a little bit.
Just a few.
Currently, Dan might lose his home today.
He might,
so
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on the watch duty.
But here, Dan, he's here doing the show.
How dedicated is
That's
it?
pretty dedicated.
He's sitting there watching watch duty to see how if his home burns down.
Is it dedicated or stupidity?
Yeah,
I don't know. I can't tell.
We'll find out. So we could be leaving, or Dan could be leaving soon. So we might have to cut this show early. But for now, Dan's riding the storm out.
We'll see what happens.
Yes.
All right. Well, can you believe season 1 is over? We're going to season 2
Felt like
on
a couple
West of
seasons
Tulsa.
Oh,
already.
Amazing.
Yeah. We covered a lot of ground in season 1, didn't we?
Well, you say season 1, but it's really year 1. That was our season was a whole year. We spent a whole year. It's been a year since we started.
I know. I guess I've been in TV too long. I
Yes,
call
you
it
have.
season 2.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it is a season.
It is.
It's a long season.
Yeah.
But it's a season nonetheless. So yeah, we're in the second
We cranked
year.
out how many shows, Dan? How many shows in season 1?
We are now on show 45. So
Wow.
44 shows.
in season 1. That's
In
pretty
season
good.
1,
That
yeah.
is really good.
And one show that we never aired. Remember that?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Still in the can,
The
waiting for
mysterious
Beth's
lost
approval.
show.
Yeah.
The lost show.
I guess we
right.
haven't had enough people asking for it yet.
I forget, but there was I said some things that
Oh,
Beth
you
didn't
said some
think were-
controversial
It was
Yeah.
one thing.
things.
It was one thing that you said that Beth said.
It was a small thing.
It was a very small
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, we won't get into that. Oh my gosh.
Maybe one of these days. we'll
Yeah,
get
one
to
of these days. But probably the most exciting thing about season 2,
In air quotes.
Season 2.
well, because I know Gabe apparently that if I'm not saying it right, it'd be the second year. The most exciting thing about second year is we have Christina on the team. So that's so exciting.
Yes.
I am super excited.
Yeah, this is
I
great.
really am. I'm super, super excited. You guys are awesome. So, and it's been fun so far. I don't know how many shows. I think I've done 4 or 5
Yeah.
shows.
Oh,
but
at least, yeah.
At least,
Yeah.
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 Super fun. I'm excited.
Those were auditions is what they
yeah,
were.
auditions, practice runs.
So we kind of wrapped up the end of the year. You guys went to SevenStock.
Yes, we did.
We did. That
Yes,
was
we did. Back
crazy.
in November. It was like the second or third to the last event that they ever had at the
At
Irwindale
Irwindale,
Speedway.
yeah.
And wait, you went to the last day, didn't you?
I did go to the last event on the 28th of December. I think it was 28th.
And you took a piece of the track, didn't you?
I did. In fact, I saved some for you guys for the show.
Oh, put it on the shelf
I
behind
have
us.
pieces of the drag strip.
It's a little bittersweet.
It
Ugh.
really is.
Were they
yeah.
like digging it up or something?
There was
Yeah.
one section of the drag strip that they had jackhammered and
Oh, wow.
left just chunks of it, and people
Oh.
were coming and grabbing pieces.
Irwindale, yeah. Piece of history.
And I have some I'm shipping off to friends,
Oh,
and I
that's
have
cool.
some
It-
I saved for the show.
It's funny because I knew that there was a petition going around to save Irwindale, and then I was like apparently those people haven't seen the clip
Yeah.
of them jackhammering. So I was like,
Too late.
good luck with that petition,
Too
guy.
late.
Yeah, it was definitely bittersweet, but
So you're
Yeah.
going to mail chunks of concrete to folks, huh?
I do. I have a few friends. I still have to do that. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, but they live out of state. But they basically grew up here and attended events most of their life there. So they were sad. And when they saw that I was there, they were like, just bring me something, please. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so we went to SevenStock, and I know you couldn't make it. You had some other things to tend to.
Yeah, had some family
unfortunately.
issues,
Yeah, and I know that kind of extended to the rest of the year
Yeah.
last year, but it was great. Christina, she's already a veteran. She's been there many times, and she knew the deal, and she had her booth there and all that stuff. But the fun thing was that this was Dan's first time
To SevenStock.
to
Yeah.
SevenStock, but also being surrounded by many, many rotaries. One in particular,
For sure.
one in particular that caught Dan by surprise.
Which one was that?
The one where
I mean,
you
a lot of them did, but
okay,
yeah.
I'll put it this way. Dan comes up to me, and this was after a certain car had fired up. And Dan goes, that was frightening. So
I think I know which one.
So to give you some context, Abel Ibarra brought his RX-8 drag car out, right? And he fired it up in a big crowd. And Dan, Dan had full access. So he's got his camera and his rig out, and he's out there filming it and all that stuff. And, it's funny because Dan got video of Bernie, who runs the event, who we had on the show, signaling to everybody, like, hey, cover your ears, Dan filmed that, right? But then Dan decides to get closer to the car on the wrong side, the exhaust side, and posts up. And it's a beautiful shot, by the way. We have footage of this.
Yeah.
And he's there, posted up. And, he's revving the car and the car's idling and all that stuff. But what Dan wasn't expecting, because I know Dan's never been around it, is when the car went on the two-step. And if you don't know what a two-step is when you mash the throttle and it pegs the RPMs, because when you use it to launch, it goes into it's a supersonic type of effect that happens, and you could literally see it on camera, the shockwave going through.
Yeah, it was wild.
And if you're not expecting it, it can be very jarring, which apparently was for Dan.
It was wild. It was I was standing 2 feet from an engine, and I was going, if something goes wrong with this engine, like if the turbo blows or something, I'm going to die. I'll be dead. Right here, it'll take my head off, because I was literally 2-3 feet away from it.
Boy.
And even Abel and even Bernie were 4 feet, 5 feet from it. So I was right there with the camera like an idiot, of course.
And of course, all the guys were asking me afterwards, hey, is Dan okay? 'Cause no one told him.
So this is where Dan has to edit in that right in the middle of the show so we can see what he's talking about.
We'll cut that in there.
Yeah, for sure. That'll be fun.
But if you're listening to this podcast on your headphones, you might want to turn it down, because it's pretty loud. And anybody who's been around rotaries, especially rotary race cars, you know that they're so loud. It's just ridiculously loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan, being his first time, he got his proverbial cherry popped with Abel's car.
It was something else.
And then obviously Dan got amazing footage of the 767B, the Mazda factory 4-rotor race car.
Oh yeah.
What did you think of that car, Dan?
That was amazing.
Yeah.
It was an amazing car. To see a car that's, literally made history. It's that car. I mean, I know that wasn't the exact car, but it was part of the team, right? Because isn't there 10 of them or something?
No,
or
so
6 of them?
it wasn't the 787. This was the 767,
Oh.
which is a different production class. And I know Bernie listening to this right now is going to correct me because I'm going to say it wrong.
Oh.
But no, that was a legitimate car. Yes, there are copies of the 787, or I guess I wouldn't call them clones. It's even hard to call it a clone. But
Yeah.
there are multiple versions of that car. But that was a legitimate.
It was
spec
part
car.
of the team, and it did race. But I know the one that actually did that race. It's in Japan, right? It's in the museum.
The 787. Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
You're right. So I mean, close enough to the.
It was
the original,
amazing.
right?
It was amazing to see someone hop into it and just rev it up. And I mean, the crowd, there was probably 500 people standing around it, and it's just that sound is just magic.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And if you've never been around it in person, obviously video, it's cool, but you could tell, right, Dan? You've heard it many times on YouTube or whatever. But when you're there in person, it's a completely different vibe, right?
The only thing I wish we could have heard it going by at speed, because that's the ultimate. But it sounded amazing.
Well,
I mean,
with that being said, we're gonna have Bernie on the show again very soon. Part of some upcoming shows that we got going on. But there is lots of talk because everybody wants to see that car run, which means that where is the next SevenStock going to be? It's a big topic right now.
Good question.
Especially because Irwindale closing and other tracks have, Auto Club Speedway's gone, so.
Well, that's got to be figured out pretty quickly, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not easy to
you got
find
a plan,
venue,
right?
so-
You got a plan.
So I can tell you right now, being on the SevenStock team, that has been one question that I'm sure Bernie is sick of people asking him, where's the next SevenStock?
We'll ask him when he gets here.
Oh, for sure. Well, we just had a team barbecue, and that was a question I asked everybody. We shot a little video about it. It's like, where's the next SevenStock going to be, or where do you think it's going to be? And everybody was like, oh man, I don't know, and this and that. And
Well, let's flip that on its ear. Where in a perfect world, where would you and Bernie want to have the next SevenStock? Like if just anywhere in Southern California, where would be the ideal place for SevenStock?
That is a great question. Well, if I had my druthers, I want a Ventura County Raceway, but it's a dirt
Close
track.
to home.
The 787 is not going to go on dirt.
It's a little rednecky for Mazda rotaries.
But hey, you saw there were some rednecks at SevenStock.
the trucks, man, the trucks, all the rotary trucks.
I mean, a lot of them were Mexican rednecks, but they're rednecks.
For sure.
But it's hard to say. I mean, honestly, if I had my druthers, I would say Laguna Seca, but that's almost impossible because the heart of SevenStock is the old schools.
Right.
We have the most old schools of probably any event.
And they're
in
not
the
going to
world.
make it up there, right? There's no way.
It's not just that. It's just now a 1-day event becomes like a 3-day event
True.
for them.
True for Laguna. Yeah.
Yeah. So and with Mazda included, Mazda has to schlep out
That's
there.
true.
And,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges, and I don't envy Bernie for the decision that he's got to make. However, I will say this, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but this is just a rumor. Don't listen to me. There is a rumor that the iconic SP, the new Mazda rotary powered car, is coming.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if it's coming to SevenStock. I hope it would. But
Well, if Mazda's there, they'll probably bring it, I would think.
well,
If it's available, if it's
if it's
far
actually
going to
go into production, if it's not just a clay model or whatever.
Right.
So
Because they've had it at some of the shows. I saw like some pictures of the SP1 mock-up,
and
I guess.
And that's the thing. That's where I think it might be true because they are putting a lot of content out there. Mazda corporate, all internationally too, of the renderings or the videos of
You think they're priming the pump?
I think
Priming the pump to let everybody, hey, here's what's coming.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I think so. And there was even some kind of suggestion that maybe the next SevenStock might be at Mazda HQ, which they've done that before, which would be kind of fitting if the iconic SP actually does come.
Yeah, because then they could just wheel open the shed and bring it out.
Yeah,
It's like or the warehouse. There
So,
it is.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, we got to experience all this stuff at SevenStock, and it was fun. And we had a couple things that came out of that too. One of a show that we're working on coming up about state refs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Christina and Dan interviewed a really nice guy. His name's Jacob. I forgot his last name. Do you remember his last name?
No, I
I
don't.
can't remember.
RX-7, bro.
I do remember that.
Yeah, his IG handle.
Yeah. Nice car.
Really nice car. Really nice guy. Got pulled over for some BS, and he was completely legal. Got a state ref and decided to, put his whole car back to stock, and get it state barred through the California Air Resources Board, and he got it done. But he's got an interesting story, and we interviewed him there, and we talked about that a little bit.
So he was legal, but he went back and did it anyway.
Yeah, because
He just didn't want to put up a fight.
Yeah. He didn't want to fight, but the things that they called him out on were really BS
Yes,
things.
yeah.
His car was like smog legal. He didn't have, he passed emissions and all that stuff, but there was parts on his cars that the state ref didn't agree with or whatever, and it's kind of BS. And Christina, we've talked to other people locally here that have had the same kind of issues, and it's really really BS.
I wanted to bring
that's
up
an upcoming show.
There's some interesting things happening. I want to bring up. Hopefully, this isn't too much of a tangent, but with the new administration coming in, I know we're not a political show, but drill baby drill.
Yeah.
Going back to fossil fuel base a lot for America, and then I just found out today, a minute ago, that California extended the law to be able to purchase a gasoline generator in California till June because of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
You're talking because of the
damn.
fires?
Yes.
Or,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Exactly.
all the power outages.
Speaking of that,
So I'm kind of seeing like, there's a little bit of tide turning here on performance cars, hot rods, race cars, and stuff.
And real quick, not to even go on a further tangent, the last 3 weeks, I've been using my gas generator. I also have a EcoFlow battery, pack generator, whatever you want to call it, inverter. And I've been using it often because the battery packs, when they go out, there's nothing to charge them, and solar takes too long. So I use my generator to power my electric ones that I use inside.
Yeah.
So I'm using both, right? So it's gonna be very, very interesting because you just can't get away from, especially diesel power.
Yeah.
For emergencies and relief and stuff like that. So there's got to be like a reckoning at some point.
Well, and did you guys watch the Trump inauguration at all?
Yeah.
Where he gave the speech and he was talking about he's going to the EV mandate. It's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least federally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that may not mean a whole lot here for California.
Yeah.
We'll
California
see.
is not going to make
But
it.
But
you
they're
can
not
never
forced.
tell.
They're not
They're
forced
not
to make
forced to,
EVs,
right.
which I think is good. look, I have an EV. I have a Tesla. We've mentioned many times. Apparently, people come up to me and goes, they feel bad for me because I get dinged for my Tesla.
Yeah.
Which I don't care. The Tesla does what I need it to do.
Yeah.
But it also allows me to have my other cars and not worry about gas mileage and all that stuff or whatever. So there is a place. EV has its place. So I'm not against it, but forcing people or manufacturers to make certain things because the government decided that that's what they have to do. I think
that never ends well.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It never ends well.
Forcing anybody to do anything never goes well. That
Well,
doesn't
and-
matter what it is.
And
True.
then that was a California state rep over the holidays who made all the headlines where he said you'll have to pull my Mustang
Out of my
gear
cold
shift
dead
out of my
hands.
cold dead hands.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of articles that were flying around. Well, we've had this happen a lot over the years where some California lawmaker says, we're going to outlaw classic cars, or they're going to create these zones where you can't drive, classic cars. And I mean, local jurisdictions can decide, we're going to be classic car free or whatever it is.
geez.
You know,
I didn't even
you've
hear
heard
about
about
this.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And that's really, I would say that'd be more realistic than just a full out, statewide ban. That's I can't see that happening. But if the state leaves it up to local jurisdictions to decide, hey, these are classic car-free zones where you can't have petroleum-based vehicle driving through your town.
Wow.
I could see that happening maybe at some point. Oh, I think
That
so.
is some Gestapo
yeah.
type stuff right
Well,
there.
think about it. Think about what some of these local jurisdictions have come up with. So
Yeah.
it is
You know,
possible in California that
San
that can
Diego
happen.
last year tried to, I don't know if it went through, they tried to do this test where they would charge you per mile that you drive.
Yeah.
For a gas-powered vehicle.
Yeah.
For EVs, there was no charge. I'm like, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
That's not freedom of choice, that's for sure.
No, there's no freedom in that at all.
For a non-political show, we sound very political right now.
But it pertains to cars, though. This is all car
okay,
engine
yeah,
stuff.
sure.
So so with that being said, I heard a rumor. Granted, take this with a grain of salt. This is not a source for news here, but I heard a rumor that the Trump administration could be going after California Air Resources Board, CARB,
Wow.
because of their overstepping of their
Regulations and
Well, it could get
Yeah.
into
and all that.
constitutionality, believe it or not.
No,
it is.
and I think that's the only reason that this is my opinion, that he would go after that, because if it's violating a constitutional right, then he's got to step in federally, right? So states do whatever they want. I mean, we
Yeah.
live in the toughest state to live in as far as a car person is concerned. So
That's always the
curious.
That's always the battle. Fed, state, Fed, state.
Yeah.
Fed, state.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
always battling. That's
Yeah.
half of what ends up in the Supreme Court. Or,
Yeah.
federal versus state.
Right.
Who's allowed to do what and regulate what.
Yeah.
So, and that just sounds like another battle brewing over.
Yeah, there's
Something
gonna
that's
be, I'm sure
gonna
there's gonna be a lot
happen
of battles
at the
brewing,
U.S. Supreme Court, but-
hey, look, as far as a car person, as 4 car people in here, yes, Dan, you're a car person.
Yeah, I guess so.
Officially,
I'm
2025 is the year Dan comes out as a car person.
I'm here, so I must be a car
We're still gonna make
person.
that shirt though, non-car.
By the way, have you checked lately? Are you still a homeowner? Have you
Yeah,
checked?
it's
Okay,
looking
good.
okay.
Okay,
Gabe's
good.
right. The wind is going north and not east. If it goes east, I'm in trouble.
yes. So
Alright.
for
yeah.
people that are watching right now, there's a fire right now close to Dan's house.
Yeah,
So-
within a mile of my house.
So we're monitoring that
And
closely.
and just so people, if they want to look it up, because this is going to air after this is all over. But
Yeah.
what are they calling it? The Laguna
It's the Laguna Fire.
Laguna
the
Fire.
Laguna Fire. Yeah. So
Right.
far, it's pretty small, but as we've seen the past few weeks, small fires turn into big fires
Yeah,
Really quick,
really
quickly.
fast.
Really.
Yes.
When you have
California.
75-mile-an-hour winds, like
Yeah.
that's how you get the Palisades fire. That started out a small fire too,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
boom.
So if you hear a door slam, it's because Dan just zipped out of the studio.
See ya.
He's running home.
Speaking of Palisades fire, I was informed from Bernie that he knew a couple of people that had homes that burned, but also cars that burned in the
Yeah.
fire.
Oh,
One of a
wow.
really cool RX-2, I believe, from a guy. I forgot the guy's name, but his company was his thing was Poor Sport. He was kind of well known in the LA area, but I saw a picture of the car and it was just a shell left over. I'm like, oh.
Was that a
Yeah.
drag car?
No, it was just a regular
Oh,
street car,
okay.
but it was a
Wow.
decent car.
RX2.
Yeah, RX2, yeah.
Not
And
a lot of those left.
No,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now there's one less. Among other cars, I've heard of other people losing their cars and their car collection, and it's so unfortunate.
Oh, I know.
So
And,
unfortunate.
yeah, I've got friends who live over here in Camarillo, the Camarillo Heights area that had
Yeah.
was a mountain fire.
The mountain
in December?
fire, yeah.
And so they sent me an email, and they had both been the presidents of the British.
The British Car Club.
Yeah, for the Central Coast.
Yeah.
Or what. I don't know the exact name of the club, but they had this gorgeous early 50s Jag. It's gone. The house is gone. The car is gone.
Such a shame.
So yeah. So I mean, yeah, you hear these stories, and it's really sad. But this shows how quickly these fires move. You can't get anything out.
Did you just notice? I don't know if you guys just noticed this. We transitioned from government overrule to disasters without even blinking.
They're kind of
Damn, we're
interrelated.
Damn, we're good.
That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at you, Dan.
One could say they're interrelated. Right?
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't care what side of the political fence you're on. If you're a car person, you obviously care about things for cars, and I don't think there's going to be a big argument for, everything's got to go EV when it comes to modifications in cars and stuff like that. It's cool to have that as an option, but forcing anybody to do anything is, I just think, a terrible thing.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
I think we all agree on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So hopefully these things will change for California.
Yeah.
Take a deeper
Little
breath,
better.
and then we'll.
I know.
Yeah, no, that's what you.
California's got a lot going on right now.
Yeah. And speaking of a lot going on,
The perfect transition.
yeah. Christina's got a lot going on this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got
Yes.
some things coming up.
I do. I have a lot going on. We have, for International Women's Day, Miss Motorhead, I'm putting on a female themed car event at Fujiwara Tofu Cafe. So
Located?
that's super
Located?
exciting.
Where?
El Monte,
Okay,
located
just so
in
people
El Monte.
know.
Yeah. And that's super exciting for me because I love that location. I've been to a lot of shows there, and it's just kind of iconic. Everybody who's into the JDM car scene because of Initial D too, it's just the spot. So I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Super excited.
So only the only women can have the display cars, correct?
Well, okay, so
Or-
it's open to everybody.
Okay.
It's just that it is it's because it's on International Women's Day.
When is
It's
that?
women themed. It's March 8th, Saturday,
Okay.
March 8th.
Good.
We're going to be showcasing some special guests who are coming out. And so it's just women themed. So a lot of women will be there. I have a ton of women who are so excited about it.
Nice.
And so I think it's going to be huge. I think a lot of people are coming out. All of my guy friends are coming to support as well. I'm sure they want to see
Meet.
some nice cars that are driven by women.
They're driven by nice ladies.
Well, that's why I asked, because I threw the flyer out there and I had my buddies ask, say, "Hey, so can guys go?" I was like, "Yeah, no, you guys can go. I just don't know what the thing." But
Yeah.
you're saying it's open to everybody.
Completely open to everybody. I have a few spots saved up front for the special guests.
Yeah.
And it's funny because a few of my guy friends who I sent the flyer to, I'm like, "Hey, you're going to come, right? And support." He's like, "Well, but it's for girls." And I'm like, "But you're single."
Yeah.
So this is the best place to come and meet single
There's a
other single
concentration
car
of
girls.
women. This would be better. Your odds would increase.
Absolutely, your odds would
Right.
increase.
So all
especially
you
if
single
you drive
guys-
a nice car.
All you single guys, get your asses out
Yeah.
there if
Yes.
you want to meet some ladies.
Yes.
Some
So you're
car
still
ladies.
doing the dating thing, then?
I
because that's what
am,
the-
Wait,
yeah.
This is like bringing everything together.
So
Yes.
I saw on their
On my story.
car speed dating story, she did a poll for
I did.
Valentine's Day,
Day.
right?
I did. I wanted to see what people thought about.
And no one said
doing
no.
an event.
No one said no to it.
Nobody said no, but I mean, I had over 300 people who viewed the actual story, and nobody voted no. Most of my friends, are married or dating, so they probably
Yeah.
just didn't care. But everybody said pretty much yes, or the other option was love sucks.
Which is still yes, though. That's
Which
still
is
a yes.
still yes. In fact, a couple of people who said they hit love sucks by accident. I don't know
Sure
if
they
that's
did.
true or not, but they were like, "I'm still gonna go. I'm excited." So I actually there's at least a dozen people who are coming. I don't even have it planned yet, but they were like, "Yes, I want to go." They don't want to sit at home lonely on Valentine's Day, especially because it's on a Friday night. So I'm planning something for that as well. Yeah, lots of stuff in the works. It's
All right,
busy,
all right.
busy year.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going on there. I like that. And then here
Yep.
inside in this building, yes, we're doing some renovations. me and the Rotary Lounge guys are going to be moving in. All right, so we're gonna have a bunch of rotaries in here. Sorry,
You get a little
everybody.
corner.
awesome.
You guys get a little corner.
Yeah. It's gonna be a loud corner.
Are they going where the
do
lifts are?
We need to do a tour one of these days. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, we do.
Are you guys going where the lifts are? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're taking that side of the shop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still going to have your car occasionally out on the lift by the
I'll have a couple
entrance
cars in
and-
there.
No,
okay.
the lift up by the entrance is going. That's leaving.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We CJ sold that.
Oh, you sold it already.
yeah.
That's good.
Well, I just sell everything to Steve Feist.
Yeah.
I call him Steve and say, "You want it?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll take it." So Steve buys everything. Half the cars in there are his now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And he has had, for some folks who don't know, he's been a guest here a couple times.
yes.
So
Yes.
your
He's a good friend of ours.
rotaries are going to take over Steve Feist's car positions now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
Okay.
he knows he's got to take those homes at some point. But yeah, so it'll be a Corvair, a Porsche, and 5 or 6 rotaries in here.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
yeah, we'll have to do a little something
Yeah.
back there
Yeah.
to show people.
Well,
what
I
we're
think
about.
once we get all settled in here, I think it's going to be time for a barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a
We have
good
to do some
idea.
demo first.
Yes.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
We
We'll
already
definitely-
took the hammer to some
We'll
of the
definitely
walls.
start. We'll record some of the demo here because I'm sure everybody wants to see you doing some manual labor.
Oh, yeah. You already posted a photo of me like dragging a motor
Yeah,
across
well,
the
people
floor.
thought you were going to put that motor in.
Now
Mazda?
what's going to get demoed? What are you sledgehammering back
So
there? Is it that wall between them?
Yeah, there's
Really?
the warehouse
that's
area.
That's not
somebody,
a load-bearing wall?
No.
That's,
No,
oh,
no,
Okay.
No, it's, I mean, somebody
we're gonna find
separated the warehouse. Yeah.
We hope
find
it's
out if
not a
it's
load-bearing wall, right?
I mean, I don't know who did it or that they put a partition between the
Oh,
warehouse,
okay.
separating the two
Okay.
sections. The problem though is and I helped do it. Richard many years ago put in the 3 lifts, put in the old cars.
Yeah.
and we had to wedge to get the cars in there. That wall was there. Oh shoot! I
Yeah.
forgot to turn my phone off again.
Rookie.
Rookie mistake.
But
Rookie
you know the
mistake.
difference is I'm not going to answer this one. I'm turning it off. How's that?
That's because it's not your daughter.
That's
why you're not
right.
No, you're right. It's not my daughter. So yeah, somebody put a partition in there. The problem is you can't move anything around. You can't
Yeah.
get cars in or
Yeah.
out.
What are you going to do with all that junk that's on that wall, though?
Damn,
That's what I've been doing
There's
for the
a
last
lot
2
of
weeks.
stuff on that wall, right?
That-
Parts.
That
and-
dumpster has been filled up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Very
okay.
We've been filling it up. Man, some of the crazy shit I found up there.
Oh, I
is
bet.
nuts.
God, dude.
A lot of old stuff on that.
Oh
wall.
my god.
Yeah.
Dude, we found a box. We pulled a box out, and the box was so heavy, just like a moving box.
Yeah.
And it was filled with newspapers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like folded up newspapers. Every newspaper was from like 62 to 65.
Oh, wow.
And like you're like, this is cool, but there's just like a random newspaper. Yes, it's old, but what am I gonna? What is anybody
Yeah.
gonna do with this?
So you had to chuck all that stuff?
Yeah,
I think it's still sitting there, isn't it? We haven't thrown it away. yet.
that's one of those where you look at something and go, okay, it's 1962.
Yeah.
But I feel like shit if I throw this thing in the trash.
Yeah.
It's like
Hey,
somebody would probably
I
want
got an
it,
idea,
but-
CJ.
Yeah.
How about we offer to the audience, anybody who's watching, your bonus would be if you want anything from the studio that we're
Yeah, there you
gonna
go.
get rid of, old newspapers, Sears catalogs from like the 60s.
50s.
If it,
Wow.
you guys want any of that stuff? Give us a holler. It's all
Yeah.
yours, man.
Yeah, some of that stuff I'm keeping. Some of it we're not.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Well, you
lot
should
of
look
it.
up the newspaper on the day you were born, though. That's kind of cool, right?
Yeah,
See
yeah,
what
you
the
could do
world was
that.
like when CJ and when Dan and when Gabe entered the world. Right?
Yeah, the problem is finding it.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like
They're
organized.
not
No.
chronological. They're just a big
Yeah.
pile.
No.
Yeah.
But I mean, so yeah, we're gonna take out most of that wall. We're gonna open it up so we can get the cars in and out.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
but it's fun. It's
Big
it's a fun
plans.
project.
I think that's a great idea for a show.
What's that?
Is we interview people that have garages, whether it be their home or industrial condo or whatever, and talk about what's in their garage. Because I think there's a lot of similarities between Steve Feist's garage with his
Totally.
grandfather's stuff, here with Richard's stuff. I don't know.
Well, we talked. Well, on a similar note, we talked about this. You were helping me that one day where we're going through opening up boxes, and Richard had everything, and most of the stuff he labeled. Some things he did not. So it would be fun to take. Remember, we were saying, wouldn't it be fun to bring it apart and hold it up and go, okay, does anybody
Yeah.
know
What do you think this is?
What does this belong to?
Well,
We should do some of that. With
Yeah,
some
well,
of-
Christina
Yeah.
had this, presented this really cool idea about. I'll let you explain what the premise was for that reel that you sent me about the game, the quiz.
Oh, the car.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I sent you a reel, and it was, guess the car off of basically like an object or something. And
Yeah.
I think the one I sent you was just a Dorito.
Dorito, which
Which is,
obviously.
yeah.
Wait. What would a Dorito represent?
Yeah.
Car wise, Dan, CJ.
Yeah. Do you guys
A
know?
Dorito?
Dorito.
You mean like the Dorito chip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
No
this is-
idea.
Think about the shape. Think about the shape.
Well,
Triangular.
I know some air cleaners that are triangular, but
See, I would have thought you guys would have gotten that one.
Triangular.
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 Well, I mean,
Dan-
mean
Dan
the
was
rotary,
Triumph.
a rotary. I mean the
A
rotary.
rotary?
Yes.
Oh, a rotary.
Yeah. What is it? The
A rotary.
Bernie is listening to this right now, just shaking his head, going,
Right.
"Oh my
bunch
god,
of idiots.
Yeah. Yeah.
did I do nothing when I came here?"
Well, I thought you were talking about a brand like Triumph, the Triumph logo or something. I didn't think about an engine part.
So Christina and I we talked about this, and it's like, yes, we would get that because we know rotaries
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but it's kind of obscure, so we need to maybe try to level the playing field a little bit. So we thought of either pictures of whole cars or pictures of part of a car. And be like, hey, can you guess what that is?
Yeah, I
You
like
know?
that.
But also, obviously, we have so much crap in this building that we could literally take the part, put it in front of the camera, and going, "What do you think this
Yeah,
is?" Because
right.
we want to know too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you could tell us, that'd be great. So we could turn it into a game. So
Yeah.
I think we're gonna start playing with that as we move along.
Yeah, that
here.
sounds
So,
good.
yeah.
You know, some of the pieces out there, I'll look at it and go, okay, I think I know what this is.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is it'll have a part number on it, and I'll start researching based on the part number. But I still can't figure out what it goes to.
Right.
But somebody would look at it and go, oh shit, that's a
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's a manifold for a Model T or
the
something like
perfect
that.
example. We're cleaning out stuff, and then we had these like metal cowls from an old car. Then there was like a couple of them stacked, and we put it on the floor. And our buddy Steve Weiss comes in to pick up some of his
Oh, yeah.
parts and look at stuff. And I was like, "Hey, do you know what that's for?" He's like, "Oh yeah, those are Camaros. I've seen them a dozen times."
67 to 68.
Wow.
Oh shit.
I'm like, "Alrighty then."
Yeah, that's amazing.
And since he knows what they are, I said, "You want them?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll take them."
Yeah. So I mean, so that's how that game spawned, and then just so happened that Christina sent me that reel of that quiz, and I was like, oh, you know, we should probably do something like this. So
Yeah.
expect some quizzes and
I like that.
some little pop trivia.
Yeah.
I could run out there now and grab one. We could maybe. I got a few I want identified. Like right now, I want to know what they are.
So yeah, so that and then you've got a couple of buddies that we're gonna have on the show, or guys that you know, the one with a Woodie.
Oh yeah. So Rick White used to be the president of the Woodie Club of America, the region, not the national, but the region. And he called me up one day and he goes, "Yeah, I'm doing an engine swap." You know, we talked about engines, K swaps, B swaps, whatever it is. So what he's doing is he is taking out an LS motor that was put into an old Woodie, and he's going to put the old flathead back in it.
What a shame.
And that's, he said, but that was why he called. He goes, "What do you think people think about that?" And I'm like, "I don't know, but it's a talker, you know." So what we're gonna do is we're gonna
Tell
go
you
to the
what I
garage.
think about
You know, so you got, this is perfect because it's old school, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
new
Yeah,
school,
right,
you know.
right.
And so but he's gonna do it, and he's in the process of it right now. So next week the plan is to go to the garage where they're doing the work and meeting
Yeah.
the mechanic who's doing the work and talk
That's
to Rick
awesome.
and see it done. And
Yeah.
it's a talker. You
Yeah.
know.
But you hit another point, though, is that what we're going to try to do this year for 2025 is we're going to go out to you guys. We're going to go out
garage,
and go
yeah.
visit the garages.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know, because I feel
yeah.
like everybody wants to see what's in everybody's garages. We talk here, and that's great, but we ourselves want to be out at these people's garages and
Yeah.
see what they got, not just sitting here in studio talking
Right,
about it and then
yes.
showing you guys a picture. We want to literally go see that
Yes.
stuff, too. So that's going to be a change for this year as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Hey,
So,
Yeah,
What-
out and about.
yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to Rick the other day about this, trying to set this thing up, and he was telling me all about the mechanic who's doing this and this, and he goes, "Yeah, he's a young guy." He kept saying, "Yeah, he's a young guy." I'm like, okay, well, I'm now 62, so what does a young guy mean? You know?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, he's in his early 30s," and I'm like, "Wow, that's okay.
That is
that's
a
pretty
young
cool."
guy these days.
And we've had a lot of discussions in season 1 about the young folks taking over the mantle, carrying the torch, and doing this work. So he's going to join us
Yeah.
to talk about what I guess he opened up a shop, and he's doing really, really well. And I think he's here in Ventura. So he's probably pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's like in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
But they're going to, that's what we hope to shoot next week.
Yeah. And then I know we've been talking about them all year last year, not on camera, but your buddies with the Porsches.
Oh yeah, Angel and Joe Schneider.
Joe Schneider, who's
Yeah.
a pretty well known guy around here.
Schneider Auto House.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. Those two. I've been calling them for 8 months. Hey, come on, how about next week? Oh, can't do it. Either one is one. Angel does a lot of traveling. And Joe's had some health issues, so Joe's better now.
Yeah.
Went out and had breakfast with Joe. He looks really good and sounds good. Angel, I told him he cannot take a vacation for 3 weeks, so that way we can shoot the damn show with him. So we're gonna go to their garage. They're cool because they're doing what every guy's dream is, ladies' dream too.
Yeah.
And that is they work on Porsches. Porsches.
I mean, that's not my
Volkswagens.
dream, but
just we're working on old
Working on
cars.
cars, yeah.
Basically, Angel quit his job, said, "This is what I want to do,"
Yeah.
and the two of them just sit there and wrench all day long on really cool cars.
that's cool.
Wow.
And so I think you guys are gonna love their garage.
Yeah.
So that's
and
in
then
Toledo.
on top of that, Christina has a friend that we've been talking about getting on the show, Izzy, who runs the Cars and Coffee Classics.
Yeah.
We've been talking about getting him on the show, but
Yeah.
I kind of want to go to his event because his event is pretty wild.
Yeah.
And maybe interview him there in his own habitat.
Yeah.
Because also, too, we want to go
Totally.
see all the cars.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
a great show. I
Yeah.
love that show. I go all the time.
So maybe
yeah.
we'll head out there.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna do a little bit of roaming this year.
Yes.
God willing. So I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Roaming.
I know we have a really cool studio here.
Yeah.
we do.
I wanna
We
get
do.
out.
You got to break out.
Yeah.
You got to break
I
out.
mean, we're not in the mecca of everything. If we were in LA, this might be a different story.
Right.
But it's really, really difficult. In case you guys didn't know, to get 40 plus shows out in a year is very challenging because of scheduling. Not just our own schedules, but guests. And it's hard because most people don't live in Ventura.
Yeah.
Or in the Ventura County. So it's difficult. So we're trying to find ways to be more accommodating and
we had guests that came from New Hampshire,
New Hampshire,
Orange County,
Yeah.
Australia.
Australia, that's
Yeah, it's like we some
right.
people made some Herculean efforts to get here and do the
Yeah.
show for
Yeah,
sure.
So which we're very appreciative of,
Yes.
and and in the future, I'm sure we'll have more guests like that that come from far away. But we really but let's just face it, we want to go see the cars. We want to touch the stone too. I mean,
Yeah.
we are car people here. We want
Yes.
to see that stuff. So it makes sense for us to go do that.
That
I wanna
reminds
I
me.
want to do a road trip too.
I was gonna say I just started. I belong to a group called Avance. I'm sure you know Avance, but one of the things I get to do on the 1st is go and test drive a Skyline.
Ooh.
Yeah,
that'd be
I'm
fun.
super excited about it. I think Melissa's joining me too. So
R32, 33, or
Which Skyline?
34?
Not an R35.
well, I get a choice. It said I can possibly. There's a few the 32, 34s, 30. I think they had a bunch of different
Okay.
ones.
Wow.
It's top rank. So
Oh, top. Okay,
Yeah.
so it won't be a new one. It'll be an older.
no,
Oh,
yeah, an
perfect.
older.
It was
Yes,
like
yes,
new one. Who cares?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
oh,
I
very
get
cool.
like a 20-minute little session.
Very
I'm
cool.
so freaking excited about that.
It's a nice car.
Like,
Wow.
and you also joined SCCA.
I rejoined
Yay!
SCCA. I also am now part of WOT, which is Women on Track. It's like a support group for women in motorsports. So I'll be doing
It's not just west of Tulsa.
what? Yeah, that's right. That's so funny. That
WOT.
just now
Okay,
clicked.
so hey, just real quick.
Hilarious.
Dan tried to, we do a lot of file naming and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and
Yeah.
he always used the term, WAT or the acronym WAT, and I says you're never allowed to use that because WAT is wide open throttle. It's also a lot of the other things, but it's also it doesn't sound nice.
It's yeah. I tend to like
I
to
didn't
say
even know.
WOT instead of what.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I cannot believe I just connected. That's Anyway, so yeah, lots of stuff going on. Yeah.
Well, the what's
yeah.
been more of an internal thing. I do that in
Yeah, yeah.
emails
Yeah.
when I send it to you guys.
Yeah, and I
I'll
ignore
go,
it.
What?
Right.
I just call everything Tulsa.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
funny.
Tulsa's better.
Yeah.
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 Also, too, as idea I'm going to throw out here to our audience and as well as to you guys is we've talked about starting a second channel with just some clips and stuff like that. And I thought it just kind of hit me as we were talking about this. Is like instead of calling it like West of Tulsa Clips, I was just going to call it the Best of Tulsa.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
I like
That's
that.
cool.
I like that.
So people
Yeah.
can see. Not everybody wants to sit down. And
So
listen.
BOT. or am I pissing you off again?
I did say the best of Tulsa.
TBOT.
T-bot.
T-bot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
T-bot.
I just want to find a way to because we've got a lot of good content, and a lot of it's thrown into long shows, and not everybody wants to sit there and watch them. And sometimes we just have a few minutes to watch, and we just want to pick some cool clips out. Also, it opens up the door. I know Dan and I, we've been doing films and stuff like that for a long time before we were on the show, and I know we want to do more stuff like that. It's just kind of difficult when people are expecting a podcast, and wrapping it up into a podcast is we'll try it, but
Sure.
we're just trying some new things this year, and
Yeah.
I think we'll see. And your feedback will be important. The audience feedback will be important to
For
us.
sure.
Yeah.
Chime in if you have any suggestions for us.
Road trip? How about
Absolutely, road trip.
Yeah, that would
That's
be
my
awesome.
CJ, road trip? Road
that? I
trip?
do want to do a road trip.
Yeah.
It's funny. I wanted to do it in a, pick a classic car, kind of go, drive and go someplace. Okay, I'll put that on the back burner because I know what the hell's going to happen. I'll get stuck somewhere.
And you will be alone because
I'll be all by myself. Yeah, Beth is not
Cimarron,
going.
New Mexico.
No,
CJ's Corvair broke down.
So I think we'll take the Honda minivan
Yeah.
and we'll dress it up. We'll maybe put a Wested Tulsa.
You're going to get it
Wrap
wrapped?
on
You're going
it.
to get it wrapped?
Do you want to be
Or
recognized?
it'd either be a WOT or BOT, like wrap on the side of it. And then we'll go take a road trip. So that way we could actually go to somebody's garage that's not in Southern California. We'd go to someplace in, say, Nevada or Arizona or Utah or something. I mean, there are a lot of garages out there.
I'll meet you guys there. I'm going to fly.
Yeah, I don't know about the whole minivan thing. That's kind of not my style.
We got Clark Griswold here. Trying to take the family across the country.
CJ Griswold.
CJ Griswold. Yeah.
I'll get a cool shirt. I'll get a nice leisure suit. We'll take a road trip.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that kind of covers what we wanted to talk about today. Really, I mean, we got some really cool shows lined up. Christina has some events coming up that I think are really cool, and we got some stuff going on here internally inside our building, which is really cool. So, we'll document this as much as we can and share it all with you.
We're going to switch it up.
Yes.
Got to
we're gonna
switch it up. Can't do the same
We're
thing.
still going to do shows, but we're going to throw some other things in there because we want to get some responses from our audience too. We want to see what gels well with them.
What I mean, is there something you want to see us do? We'll do it. We'll give it a shot.
Base jumping?
Yeah.
If it's legal. I mean, it doesn't have to be legal.
Christina's up for base jumping. I could tell. She'd be like, let's go. Parachuting? Skydiving?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That's not really car related though, right?
Cars usually are on the ground.
Yeah, true.
So I'm going to stay on the ground.
Probably safer.
Yeah. So, we're going to try some new stuff this year.
Yeah, exciting.
All right. So we've decided we're going to call it season 2
You decided.
and Best of Tulsa.
Best of Tulsa is great. I like that game.
Yeah, I like that.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Bot.
Yeah. We'll start that channel soon.
All right. Anything else? Anything I know? No? I think we covered everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Exciting. Yep.
Yeah.
Silence.
Yeah.
I love it.
I had one thing I wanted.
I'm waiting for Gabe to throw something. I know he's thinking. Look at
Yeah,
him.
look
Look
at
at the
him.
look on his face.
I had one thing I wanted.
Well, you forgot the office-wide memo, which was we don't ever talk about. You want to talk about anything else?
Was there a memo that went out?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
No,
but Dan has
no.
something. Dan has something. What is-
I do have something. I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer on the show on a downer, but did you guys see the stat that was in the press this week about Gen Z's like 64% actively do not want to own a car?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
That's like, what do you think about that? I mean,
Yeah.
what does that say for the future of car enthusiasm, you know?
Well, I do think, this is, of course, my opinion, but the problem with all the regulations, the fees, registration,
Yeah.
I could understand that.
Yeah, they're making it hard.
They're making it
It's-
very hard, and they're making it very attractive to not own a car.
Yeah, true.
Right, which I get. But once a lot of these I say kids, but these people,
Young people, yeah.
understand, like, when they go to an event, they change. They experience something visceral that we always talk about this. It's a visceral experience
True.
that they're missing out on.
True.
It's the computer generation, the iPad
Yeah,
generation,
yeah.
or whatever. And once they get their hands and they touch something, feel it, smell it, listen to it, I think it does change something.
Yeah.
And I think if we can experience more of it, and it's just in California, it's just going the opposite way because tracks are closing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't even have a legal exhaust on your car anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just just ridiculous. And I think that stat is probably going to get worse, at least in California, unless something changes. And I pray to God that something does change, because I feel really bad for the kids growing up that don't get to experience the cool stuff with cars.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I can say, once again, not being really that into rotaries and so on, going to SevenStock, that was a very special event. I mean, it was special because of Irwindale, but even if it wasn't at Irwindale, it was like there was amazing stuff to see there.
Absolutely.
Super cool people.
Yeah.
Interesting just seeing the culture and comparing it to like drifting and drag racing. Like everyone has their little niche in cars.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the rotary community is like, wow, really strong,
I met so
really unified.
many new friends at that show. Like that show blew me away. That was, I think, by far one of the best shows that I've ever
Well, like
done.
being at your booth, just seeing people come up and you and
talking.
your girls chatting with them, and it was like there was real, like, people were super cool, and they wanted to buy your stuff, and they wanted to have a good conversation.
Yeah.
We had over 4,000 people show up.
Okay.
Wow, that's a great crowd.
Yeah, and I think that's a conservative estimate.
Yeah.
It was a very, very good
amazing.
turnout. Very good turnout. And it was cold. It wasn't,
Yeah, it was cold
I
and
mean,
windy.
granted, it was sunny. It was great, but it was the turnout was really, really
Yeah.
I got to be there next year.
Yes,
you do.
yes,
Gotta
you
be there next
do.
year.
It's epic.
I would just say for the audience, like, do what Gabe says. Get off your ass, even if you're not into it. Just go to it and check. Like this event that Christina's going to have, the JDM woman thing.
Yeah.
If you're not into JDM, go to it anyway and check it out, because it might surprise you.
Yeah.
You might kind of go,
Heck,
whoa, that's
if you really want to dumb it down, go to a local Carson Coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the
Absolutely.
easiest, cheapest,
True.
non-committal thing you have to do. You don't need a ticket. You don't need to pay.
Yeah.
Buy a cup of coffee, because it sucks if you're loitering. But
well, I think we, being the car gang here, right? We really need to actively if you get insular within your little world, it's shrinking. So if you want to get new people into it, you got to get off your ass and get them out there.
Right.
So I think that's our job to say go to these things.
And this was part of our mission last year, which was to get non-car people to talk about stuff that is relative to them, but it's all related to cars. Like somebody who's not into cars, but their grandfather had a car that's really special to them because it reminds them of their grandfather.
True.
Or
That's
whatever.
usually how people kind of get into it.
Or I got towed around in a station wagon when I was a kid. You know, there is an experience there, and a lot of those experiences are leaving. Sadly to say, with EVs, because no one has any memory of an EV. I mean, heck, I could care less what happens.
Well, and as they say, no one's going to be restoring and collecting EVs in 20 years. They're just going to be in a junk pile.
They're going to be parting them out and doing stuff. With that, recycling it, putting the motors in another car.
But it's not
Mad
but it's nothing like what car people do today. It won't be anything like that.
No.
There won't be passion about, I got a 2022 Tesla.
Nail on the head there. Passion.
Yeah.
The passion's lost in the EV world. They're not passionate.
How can you be passionate about what an EV is when it's an appliance?
Well,
it's a vacuum
I
cleaner.
love the analogy that there's a meme going around about, I could microwave my steak, but I'd rather just barbecue it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something to be said about
For
just
sure.
because you can get it done faster doesn't mean it's better.
That's right.
I know a lot of people listening to this right now will agree with that. But it's a really interesting analogy because we're in a society where instant gratification. But after the instant gratification, what's the next thing? And you become this kind of virus, this leech.
More
on society.
instant gratification.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
And then where does it stop? And then you get to this point where I'm so desensitized to everything because I have sensory overload 24/7.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is pride of ownership. That was something I saw at SevenStock. That's amazing. I mean, even those rotary pickup guys. I mean, when were those rotary pickups out? That's like mid 70s. Yeah. And these guys have these rotary pickups. A lot of redneck guys, a lot of Latino guys, and so on. And they're passionate about them.
Yeah.
They bring them out there. They talk about them. They're trading parts. They're talking about paint colors. They're it's like there's something to be said about I'm not passionate about my phone or an EV or my EcoFlow, or it's just a thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to get passionate about that, but cars are something you can get passionate about.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
that's the idea.
And that was another cool thing to go back to SevenStock is that you had guys who like cars bone stock and they just liked how pristine it is. Guys who had rust buckets and they loved it.
Yeah.
Guys who are they're drag cars or they're drift cars or they were whatever.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys on there, a couple RX-8 guys who they're kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the rotary community. They get hated on a lot, but I'm one of them. But there's guys that really passionate about their car, and their car might be only worth $1,000, $2,000, but they
Doesn't
love
matter.
it,
Doesn't
and
matter.
that's what matters.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I saw throughout all of SevenStock was that it doesn't matter what you have. And Bernie, he produced this culture
For sure.
of bring what you have. Don't be ashamed that your car's 4 different colors or 10
Yeah.
different colors,
Yeah.
or it smokes like most rotaries do.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. Bring your car. Have pride of ownership.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
Yeah.
wash
And he
your car.
explained why he has that philosophy.
Absolutely.
you know, from
You know,
his early days.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and he doesn't want that kid to feel,
Right.
he wants inclusion for these kids.
Totally, yeah.
And I wholeheartedly support that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that goes with any community, not just the Rotary community, any community of cars. It's like if I see a kid coming up to my car at Cars and Coffee, I'll let him. You know, you want to get inside? You want to sit down? You want to touch it? Whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
Go
Yeah.
for it. You know, this whole thing of like, it's like stay away. I gotta stay.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
no, that's not gonna work.
So, Gabe,
Right.
what you're saying is DEI for cars.
Oh God. Oh, here we go.
Dan.
I'm so
I knew
so
you'd love
happy that.
that.
we're not a
I knew
political
you'd
show.
love that.
Yeah, we're not a political show. Jeez.
Oh, man.
You know what?
Alrighty.
You know what, Dan? I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah,
Because-
it works for
because
cars, not
you-
for people as much. It
Yes,
works for cars.
Inanimate objects, I'm okay with that because
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
As long as it's a rotary, I'm fine.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I found a DEI Gabe can get behind.
Yeah, DI in rotaries only. So
That's a T-shirt.
yeah, you
That's
have
a T-shirt.
unlimited. No bounds within this boundary. So,
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
for SevenStock next year, I'm thinking theme DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion.
yeah.
Rotary diversity, equity, inclusion.
I don't know if that's going to be a popular term this
Yeah.
year.
You're
So-
right. You are right. Yeah.
Plus,
Anyway.
Gabe doesn't like acronyms anyway. So
That's
No, I
true.
don't.
No,
That's
see?
true.
He doesn't.
Yeah,
He's
that's
anti-acronym.
right.
That's
Don't
true.
be a POS.
Don't be a VOS. That's good. All right. Well, sorry.
right.
So it wasn't a downer. I
OOT.
thought it'd be a downer. We're okay.
OOT.
OOT.
Yeah.
That out of time.
Yeah.
I think out
Yes.
of time.
Thank you for the translation.
All right. Gabe is so frustrated right now.
People have clicked off like
Yeah.
20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well,
If you made it this far, thank you.
Yeah.
well, a component of our show is pissing off Gabe.
Yeah,
That's definitely
exactly.
part of the show.
That's why you have to
It's
watch.
easy to do.
You have to watch it on YouTube so you can look at his face to see
I need no one
when
wants
he
to
gets
see
all
my face.
frustrated.
It's only one more step to crotchety old man, Gabe. So.
Oh, God.
He's
Well, his-
crotchety middle-aged man.
His
now.
last rant certainly sounded like a crotchety old man, the way he was going on and on.
You damn kids.
Man. Damn.
Get off my lawn, you
And your
damn kid.
acronyms.
Newfangled acronyms.
Oh man. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. I'm glad we're back.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
are back, baby.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Thanks for watching West of Tulsa. Don't forget we have our YouTube.
Channel.
Wait a minute. That feels good to do
Channel.
it again. Doesn't that feel good?
We got to try
Gabe?
something different.
Doesn't that feel good?
Yeah,
gonna
for
try something
2025, let's invent a new way to do that.
Thank
We
you
also-
for reminding me of that.
And if you have any ideas for us, go to westofTulsa.com. Go on the what do we call it?
Tip line page.
There you go.
Tip line.
Yes.
See, it's been so long, I
Wow.
forgot. All right. We'll see you west of Tulsa.